I know
because
you
all
messaged me
the
saying,
all the purpose of our all the talks for last 6 8 weeks was to come to this session, because every single Ismaili want to do what? Be Fanafi Imam. Ji.
sorry, is it Nilam Ladak? First cousin? Do you have a question, Nilam Ladak?
Yeah, sorry, I was just wondering. You know, in Islam, we're not allowed to do music and art. And also, like you gave us so much information about the angels, but you got to literally do research when you do that. I mean, when you got to go into the Wikipedia and learn about the angels. Yeah, but the information you've given us in so many talks is so good. It's really, really the way you explain. It's like for all the levels, very good information. Thank you so much, sir.
So this is my take on music in general. First of all, if we look at the Quran and look at the subject of Hazrat Dawood alayhi salam, a great prophet, one of the prophet who is the father of Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam, one of the great Rasul of the time. He did his ibadat on music. And when he would do the ibadat, he will never do ibadat without music. That's one. Number two, when in the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when Fatima al-Zahra, Khatun Jannat, was marrying Mawla Ali Zaman, Prophet Muhammad instructed by saying, make sure you send some musician at the occasion of my daughter from my home to Ali's home, while she's walking and traveling between my home and Ali's home. Make sure there is a nice, soothing music to do Alwida. Prophet is saying that make sure there is a music. Do we see that? Number three. How many times have we seen our present Imam, Maulana Shah Karim al-Husaini Hazir Imam, having musical session, and recently, 2 years ago in Diamond Jubilee, the musical award. That's how much importance Imam gives to music. Now, this is historical part. Let me tell you one last thing. Remember, I say I'm going to give my own belief, okay? Music is the soul food. Music is the food for our soul and mind, and music is a natural. How do we know music is a natural food for our soul and mind? You take a 2-month-old, 4-month-old child and you play the music. All of a sudden, he starts to move. This kid doesn't know anything about music, is halal or haram. He doesn't know if this music is good or bad. It's a natural reaction to the music, because music is the soul's food, the food for the soul and the mind. So I think that's all I'm going to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Altaf, can I ask a question which doesn't concern today's subject, or does he have to do the same question?
No. I'm sure Aziz has got some time.
I had a problem before this pandemic started. I used to go to Khana, and every time when we finished our first part of the dua after Surah Al-Fatiha, I used to bow down and say Amin, in my own mind. And somebody literally, told me off by saying, we are not allowed to do that. We are not allowed to bow down, and says Amin. I mean, I didn't say loudly Amin, I just said it. And then all of a sudden, Khana was closed and everything, and then I didn't have Can you answer the question? Are we allowed to say Amin or not in the first part after the Fatiha is said? Al-Fatiha, Surah Al-Fatiha.
Okay, there are two schools of thought about Surah Al-Fatiha. There are two schools of thought, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, everything is depending on your niyat, of your intention. What is your niyat, reasoning, logic of saying Amin after Surah Fatiha? You don't have to answer, you know what it is, okay?
Yeah, I know what.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are two schools of thought. Because Surah Fatiha end with Geril Maghzubi Alain Walazwalami. So first school of thought says, when you say Amin, you are agreeing to the last part of it, because there was the last part you just said. Geril Maghzubi Walazwalami. Right? So that's first school of thought. The second school of thought is the Surah Fatiha is so complete in itself that you don't even have to say Amin. Because Surah Fatiha is the shifa, purification in itself. So you don't have to say Amin. This is two different school of thought. There is no right, there is no wrong, just two different way of looking at one thing. So again, you do not have to say anything. Whatever your intention is, you know it in your heart, and amal ka daromadar niyat par hai. Everything depends on the niyat, and I would leave it to that.
Because when I used to live in Dubai, everybody in Khana, mostly they used to bow down and say Yalimat, Amin. And, so I just got used to it. And then I started doing it here, and then still until that guy, come and he literally told me off, he said, no, you're not allowed to say that.
Well, did you ask him for reason? Did he give you logical reason?
He said, it's not in our books. We are not allowed. We have not been told to say Amin.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I'm saying, my brother. Without the logical explanation and without the having the highest understanding of something, people will do and say things and they have no logical answer. But now you have two schools of thought and you have your own niyat. You decide. In tariqa, no one can tell you what and how to do what. You decide what is your intention behind saying Amin and doing sajda. You decide. Don't let me or anyone tell you. But there are two schools of thought. You think about it and you make the decision. May Mola be with you. He is always merciful. So don't worry about it. What you like, what makes you happy.
Amin.
Ji, Yali Madad. Yali Madad.
Thank you. Maula Ali Madad. Yali Madad. Thank you, Altaf.
Sorry, Murad, you've written.
I see the question. They're asking, what happens if somebody interrupts you during the prayers by calling you or by phoning you? I would say simply keep your phone on silent. Remember, we take our shoes outside the Jamat Khana. So at home, what do? We put our phone on silent so we don't get disturbed. If you remember one principle, I think this is the answer to 1,000 questions. One single principle, answer to 1,000 questions. And that is, har amal ka daromadar niyat par hai. Your intention was not to disturb or not to receive the phone call or not to get deviated from what you're doing, right? Your niyat was to do what? To pray, to remember, to offer your dua, bandagi, ibadat. That was your niyat, right? Then trust Allah, trust Mola Bapa. Put your iman in the Imam of the time. He has accepted your prayers. Niyat is the key to all the good deeds. Ji.
As I said, there's a question here. It's regarding someone's family members in a coma. We pray Mola blesses the member to have a speedy recovery, inshallah. But the question is, where is his soul? So if he's in a coma, physically he's alive, but I think the question is, where is his soul?
If he's alive, the soul is in him, right? You know, and during the coma, it is the mind that goes silent, but the soul remain in the body. Ji. I see one of the question online about two wombs. There is a womb of the mother and there's a womb of the universal soul. I believe she just needed to know the second womb. The second womb is universal soul. I would encourage her to listen to the lecture of 2 weeks ago where we talked about that. Yes.
No problem.
Altaf,
Yes, Shahrazad.
I have a request as well, if Aziz Bhai would agree, one time to give us a session on pronunciations of dua, because we get different pronunciation every time. Example, in the part 3, balikma, balagma, they all say different kind of thing. So if you could give us a proper training on the exact pronunciations.
I can do you even one better. I have two perfect man's voice and a lady's voice pronunciation session recorded, and I thought that was the most perfect, because they also explained what happens when you say ill instead of al, how the meaning changes. So I will send this to Altaf, and Altaf can put that in the drive, and he can share with everyone. There is one in a man voice and one in a woman voice. I will share those two with you.
Okay, thank you.
There's a few questions in the chat. If you want to have a quick read. One is from Hanif. Hanif, do you want to unmute and ask the question, because it's quite a long question?
Oh, yeah, brother. Mine was actually a comment. May Mola accept and bless you all for your seva.
Ameen.
Our other brother was saying, he was criticized for saying Ameen, and you gave a beautiful response. I was just adding that once when I was in Jamat Khana, a brother that I was sitting beside, when I did Shajati there to him, he said Ameen. And that made me think. And then, I thought, okay, the meaning of the word Shajati is, may you be blessed with the holy Didar of our Lord. This is the highest, if not the highest prayer we can give to each other. And, I talked to him after that, and he explained, this is beautiful to say Ameen. And I said to him, so inshallah, I'd say do the same thing. I've taught my children to do the same thing. And I've been teaching others to say the same thing, because it's such a beautiful prayer we are giving to each other if you think about it. May you be blessed with the holy Didar of our Lord. Ameen. That's what I put in the chat. It was basically a comment.
And if you give me a permission, may I add something to that?
Yes, no problem.
Okay. The concept of Shahada Didar there is a dual concept. When we say Shahada Didar, what we are saying when we are looking at the brother or sister onto the right and to the left, that in you I see the Didar of my Imam. First concept. Second concept. Remember, we're supposed to look in their eyes. If you pay attention, in the middle of your eyes, what do you see? You see yourself in other person's eye. So second concept is, when you say Shaj Didar, that in your eyes, I see the Didar of the Imam. So this is my personal belief, okay? There is no room and no place for saying Ameen. Because this is not the concept that you may have the Shaj or Didar. You're not saying you may have the Shaj or Didar. You are saying you are having Shaj or Didar. You are having Shaj or Didar. That is the belief and the concept in our tariqah. That in you I see Shaj or Didar, and in your eyes I see the Didar of the Imam. It is about you. It is about you. When you are turning around, you are saying, I'm having the Shaj Didar. I would ask and encourage you to listen to the Dua meaning session. I believe at the end of the sixth part, we have explained the Shaj Didar and its meaning. So be careful when we alter something in our rites and ritual. Be careful of that. I'm not saying it is wrong or right. I would never say it is right or wrong. I just told the other gentleman, what makes you happy? Do that. I cannot tell you what makes you happy. You have a right and you have freedom to do what you believe and follow your heart. If that is your heart is telling you, Ameen, go ahead and do it.
Yes, I mean, brother, thank you for explaining that, and that makes sense. And it reminds me of the Rumi quote, the light of, did you say, the light of God is in your heart, and it comes in your eyes, right? I don't remember exactly, but it reminds me of that.
Yes,
so,
yes.
I mean, it's so be it as well, right? So, I mean, it's there, it's true. So, yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I love this kind of questioning and answering and giving Nachis and Garib an opportunity to add to your question. I truly appreciate that. Thank you.
There's one question here. Why is there Asas and the Natik above the Imam in the steps, please?
Okay, remember this is a hierarchy of Hudud-e-Din. This is a hierarchy of Hudud-e-Din given to us by the Peers and Dais. Imam-e-Zaman encompasses all the ranks. So if you ask the question why Asas is above the Imam, the question also is valid why Peer is under the Imam or the Dai is under the Imam. The correct understanding is that Imam encompasses all the rank. وَكُلِّ شَيْءٍ أَثْنَاهُ فِي إِمَامٍ مُبِينٍ. All the ranks above and all the ranks under are encompassed in the Imam-e-Zaman, the manifested Imam. So you understand, this is just the hierarchy of the Hudud-e-Din. Ji, thank you for asking.
How do we both go side by side in terms of the role of preaching and spiritual closeness occur when we make progression in actualization of rank steps by steps?
Okay, that's a loaded question. I will try my best to answer. I will try my best. So forgive me for my shortcoming.
I've added it to the chat as well.
Ji, no problem, no problem. So, Hudud-e-Din was the ladder or Siri or the ranks, how Mu'mineen understood to get close to the Imam. Now think of the physical first, because it's easy for us to think physically. So there is the employee, there is the floor manager, there is the manager, there is a general manager, there is a CEO, there is the owner of the company maybe. All of this, the same owner of the company, maybe at one time he was an employee. Then he became the floor manager. He became the company manager. he became the CEO, he became the owner of the company. What is this example? That there is a progression to get higher and higher. So our dais and peer taught us that there is a physical hierarchy, hudud-e-din, and there is a spiritual hierarchy of hudud-e-din. When a mu'min accepts the true knowledge of the Imam, he gets up from the floor and put his first feet on the first letter of hudud-e-din in the closest of the Imam, just by saying, Ya Mullah, I accept your knowledge. And then he or she go forward and forward. As he is increasing and enhancing his level of hudud-e-din, he is getting closer and closer to the nur of Imam. Physically is enhancing, spiritually he is also reaching higher and higher and closer to the nur of Imam. So you can see the example is of the physical, but it's actually a spiritual journey we are talking about. The hudud-e-din of the religion is a spiritual progress of a mu'min. And where does mu'min sits? Mu'min is on the floor. He puts his first step on the hierarchy of hudud-e-din when he becomes mustajib, mazun, mazun-e-mutallaq, da'i, da'i-e-mutallaq, hujjat, peer, and he can go as far as he wants on the ladder of hudud-e-din. The miraj is at the aql-e-kul level, at the highest level. Ji. I hope I have just done justice to your question. Any shortcoming is my and my only. Otherwise, Imam Zaman has all the answer, inshallah.
Aziz Bhai Ali Madad, I have enjoyed all your lectures up till now, especially the Ibadat one and the Dasan is gone into my head so nicely that my Dasan is going in properly now.
I feel some of this information wasn't available to us before. And is there a reason why we were not taught this before or not shown this in Jamat Khana? And at my age now, I just feel that I have missed out on so much of this knowledge.
Remember, Jamat Khana is the place for us to go and to be together, and we offer our prayers, our ibadat, our tasbiyat. Jamat Khana is not a REC center where things can be taught. Imam Farman is to do a personal search, and people who have done personal search known about this for a long time. But do not worry, my brother. Better late than never. Inshallah, today we have learned this and we can move forward. Second thing I'd like to add, this is the ilm of our dais and peers, and Imam Hazir Imam in our present Jama in 1967 and 1968, two Faramin, where he said, if you wanted to learn about your tariqah, go to the original source, where you will find the knowledge about our tariqah. What I have present to you in front of you, this is the original source. Because Imam early on had given us this farman to do personal search and look at the original source. This ilm is not a new ilm, and it is the ilm is not information, and this was always and always available to everybody and anybody. But having said that, do not worry. Today we got it, and we can practice this. We still have a time, we're still alive, and prayers are with you. You are not late. We are all in this journey together. we will move together as one Jamaat, inshallah.
Aziz sir, appreciate your time. Conscious uncle.
One last comment, if you give me 2 minutes only. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Aziz, I would just, if I may, make a comment to bring us back to the lecture topic today of Sanafi Imam. I was just curious maybe to get your thoughts on this, that from the time that we're born as Ismailis, and I think rightly so, we're first thing always taught and continues to emphasize is devotion to the Imam, where focus is always on us being the example of, like, let's say earth and Imam is heaven. The Imam, all the devotion, all the authority, all the respect and the love is directed towards Imam, which of course I think is absolutely the correct way. It also keeps us humble always to remember that we are like the earth and Imam is like the heaven. But I'm just curious to know if you think perhaps sometimes, and I don't mean all the time because there's always exceptions, that perhaps in the community sometimes we forget to also remind ourselves collectively as a group of what is the status or the potential of a human being. Meaning, what is the ability of the woman? Who are we? What are we here for? Of course, we're here to recognize Imam, but Imam himself said that he has no greater joy or significance in his life than to serve his Jamaat. So in this sense, it's kind of flipped around. We're supposed to serve the Imam, but here Imam is saying serve us. And I think, not to take that in a sort of exaggerated way, not to take that in an exaggerated way, but the idea being that what is the Imam here to do for us as well? Meaning, we stay humble. Sorry, I'm getting a call. We stay humble, but what is the point of the relationship? Is it just to express devotion and love to the Imam as an authoritative figure? Or is it that we're also getting benefit out of this relationship? And I think that only comes down when we remember what is the status of a mu'min or a mustajib. And I think maybe perhaps a lecture, a session could be done on the role of the concept of the human being in Islam, or a concept of the murid's progress, which reminds us, because the hadith says, he who knows himself knows his Lord. So before we can even really aspire to rise higher, I think we should also we should know that who we are in this dynamic. Do you agree with that, or?
Yes. So this is a whole chapter, a whole session, just in a short. The Farman of Imam Aka Sultan Muhammad Shami, our soul we sacrifice to the Imam, says that you can be like Pir Sadruddin, you can be like angels, you can be like Hazrat Isa, and you can go even further than that. The question is, what is further than that? Yes, you can be anything you want to be. If you focus, you can go as high as you want to be, and there is no limit. None, zero. That is the potential of a human soul. We are from Nafsun Waida, the single soul of Allah, and that is our ultimate goal to reach. So, great topic. Thank you for bringing our attention to this subject. This can be definitely a good debate and good topic to talk about. Thank you, Khyal. I agree with you 100%. Yes.
And inshallah, next week we can work on this kind of question-answer session format and look at how we can engage. And if there are people, if you guys have children, or you have, a lot of people are saying that their children have questions about our dua. At this time there are people who don't understand our faith, and sometimes for that reason they turn to other faiths or other people for question and answers, and they don't always get questions or the answers that are appropriate to our faith. It might be good for you to bring them questions too, because there are some children in and some adults who sometimes go to other people outside of our faith for answers, and then they kind of they find it hard to then come back to our faith. So this is a really good opportunity while we have someone with the knowledge that Aziz has, and other people in this forum, to bring these people who have questions or get them in contact with us. Let's see if we can open that dialogue, that that understanding, to help people stay firm on our iman. It's a very important thing, and I'm hearing a lot of news where a lot of Ismailis have questions and they have doubts. We do need to kind of pick up on these. So if we can use these kind of sessions to kind of bring people back to the knowledge, if they don't understand things like universal soul, don't sit there worried that you don't understand it. Bring it to me, bring it to Aziz sir, Khayal and all of these guys. Khalil Andani, Dr. Khalil Andani's got a lot of lectures on the universal soul. I will personally help you get in contact with anyone you need. But, if anybody does have any questions, please, don't just turn away from the faith. Bring the questions, bring your children, bring your uncle, auntie, brother, sister, whoever it is who has these questions. Let's help them to get a better understanding of our faith and answer their questions in a positive way so we can, support the work of Hazrat Imam. Thank you once again, Aziz uncle. Really appreciate it.
I want to say one last thing, Altaf. It is you I should be thanking, and it is the people on this sessions that I should be thanking. This ilm of the Imam is not mine, but it is Imam's ilm. I am Garib and poor and nobody. And everything that you like, it is Imam's knowledge. And everything you don't like, that is mine. Anything you don't agree with, that is me. Everything that you like and agree with, it belongs to Imam. He gets all the credit, not this Garib and Nachis. Thank you once again for inviting me. Ya Ali Madad, Ya Ali Madad, Ya Ali Madad, Ya Ali Madad, Ya Ali Madad.